Chief, we need to go. Now.
I hope they're okay, Chief. I'll pray for them.
I need your help.
Let's get to it.
Quiet down, or you'll find yourselves at the bottom of the sea.
Pause. Hey there, awesome viewers. I hope you're all having a blessed day. Sorry for the quick pause, but I figured since this video is on the shorter side, I'd offer you a little peace offering for the wait. Hope you enjoy it. Awesome. If you liked it, let me know in the comments down below. Alrighty then, back to the video. Enjoy. Back at the penthouse, the atmosphere was tense. Anna paced the living room, wringing her hands.
Chief, you must forgive her and help her. She's our only daughter, and she's in trouble.
Chief Crown, his face set in a stony expression, shook his head.
Anna, she needs to learn responsibility. I've been too lenient with her wild lifestyle. This is the consequence.
Anna stopped pacing and faced her husband, tears in her eyes.
But she's our only child, Chief. What if something happens to her? What if she's in danger?
Chief Crown sighed, his resolve wavering.
She needs to face the consequences of her actions. She must learn that life is not a series of reckless choices.
The next morning, when Julia still hadn't returned, Anna's worry deepened. She called Iris's phone repeatedly, but it went straight to voicemail.
Chief, I'm really worried now. She hasn't come home, and Iris's phone is off. We should go look for her.
Chief Crown tried to brush off her concerns.
Anna, she's probably out with friends. She'll come back when she's ready.
2 days passed, and Anna's anxiety turned into sheer panic. She barely slept, jumping at every sound, hoping it was Julia returning home.
Chief, it's been 2 days. We need to go to the police.
Chief Crown, though worried, tried to maintain his stoic demeanor.
Let's give it one more day. She'll come home. She always does.
On the third day, just as they were about to leave for the police station, Chief Crown and Anna were grabbing their car keys when the phone rang. The caller ID showed an unknown number. The phone rang sharply in the tense silence of the penthouse. Chief Crown, with a heavy frown, answered it.
Hello, who is this?
The voice on the other end was somewhat familiar, but strained.
Chief, it's Mike. I know this is unexpected, but I need to talk to you about Julia.
Chief Crown's expression darkened further.
Mike, what do you want? This isn't the time for.
Chief, please listen. I haven't been able to sleep for the past few days, and I've had this nagging feeling about Julia. She came to me asking for a favor to clear some CCTV footage. She was looking for someone. I did it, but something didn't sit right with me. I couldn't shake the feeling that she might be in trouble.
Anna, who had been listening intently, gasped.
What do you mean? What have you done?
Mike's voice took on a more urgent tone.
After helping her, I couldn't rest. I had these nightmares over and over. I even called my sister, who is a Christian, and she prayed with me. The next day, she called back, saying she had a dream from God. She saw Julia in a dark place, crying for help.
Chief Crown's grip on the phone tightened.
Where is she, Mike? What did you find?
I traced her phone's last known location. It's at an old warehouse on the outskirts of town. I didn't want to believe it, but I had to let you know.
As Chief Crown relayed this to Anna, her legs gave way, and she collapsed onto the couch, terror etched across her face.
Chief, we need to go. Now.
Just then, the phone rang again. This time, it was from Iris's parents.
Chief, Anna, have you seen Iris? We haven't heard from her in days and her phone is off. We're worried.
Anna's panic deepened.
Chief, it's not just Julia. Iris is missing too. We need to find them.
Chief Crown, his own fear now evident, nodded resolutely.
Let's get to the warehouse. Mike, send me the location.
Mike quickly provided the address, his voice laced with concern.
I hope they're okay, Chief. I'll pray for them.
As they sped toward the warehouse, Chief Crown pulled out his phone and dialed a number. Anna looked at him questioningly.
Who are you calling, Chief?
It's Daniel, an old friend from the force. We could use some professional help.
Chief Crown replied, his voice tense. After a few rings, a gruff voice answered.
Daniel here.
Daniel, it's Chief Crown. I need your help. My daughter is missing, and we have a lead on her location. Can you meet us at an old warehouse on the outskirts? I'll send you the address.
There was a pause before Daniel responded.
I'll be there. Hang tight, Chief.
The drive felt agonizingly long, but they finally arrived at the rundown warehouse. Iris's parents were already there, their faces pale with worry. Moments later, a police car pulled up, and Daniel, a stocky man with a stern expression, stepped out. He greeted Chief Crown with a firm handshake.
Let's get to it.
The group watched anxiously as Daniel, gun drawn, entered the warehouse. The tension was palpable, each second dragging on interminably. After what felt like an eternity, Daniel re-emerged, holding something in his hand.
Chief, you need to see this.
He said gravely. Chief Crown and Anna approached, their hearts pounding. Daniel held out 2 phones. Anna's legs buckled, and she clung to Chief Crown for support. Iris's parents were similarly distraught, their faces etched with fear. Daniel's expression was grim.
We need to get back to your place and figure out our next steps. Don't worry. God will help us find them.
The drive back to the penthouse was silent. Once they arrived, Daniel began examining the phones for any clues, while the families huddled together, trying to hold on to hope. Meanwhile, Julia and Iris slowly regained consciousness. The throbbing pain in their heads was matched only by the fear that surged through them as they realized their predicament. Their hands were bound, and confusion clouded their memories of how they ended up there. As their senses sharpened, Julia's panic intensified when she remembered her pregnancy. She began to hyperventilate, her mind racing with thoughts of what might happen to her unborn child. Iris, though equally terrified, managed to speak soothing words, trying to calm her friend amidst her own rising fear. Their tense moment was shattered when Lucas entered the room. His presence alone sent shivers down their spines, and when he spoke, his voice carried a chilling threat.
Quiet down, or you'll find yourselves at the bottom of the sea.
The threat forced Julia and Iris into terrified silence. Just as the fear threatened to overwhelm them again, a sudden clearing of the throat drew their attention. Standing in the doorway was a doctor, an unexpected sight in their bizarre ordeal. Lucas stepped aside, allowing the doctor to approach Julia. The doctor quickly checked on Julia's condition, reassuring her in a brisk manner.
The baby is healthy.
He declared before swiftly exiting the room. Lucas stood up, his demeanor shifting as he turned his attention back to Julia and Iris. As he moved, Julia instinctively grabbed his wrist in a desperate plea. Lucas froze, his gaze intense as Julia held on to him, uncertain of her own actions in the face of such danger. In a whispered breath, Lucas leaned close, his words almost a hiss against her ear.
We're on a yacht headed from Kaduna to Cape Town. There are cameras and microphones everywhere. Act scared.
Julia gasped, the revelation sinking in as she struggled to compose herself, her mind racing with the implications of their situation. Lucas abruptly pulled his hand away, feigning annoyance as he left the room, leaving Julia and Iris under the cover of uncertainty. Alone once more, Julia and Iris exchanged a bewildered glance, their minds racing to comprehend Lucas's sudden shift in demeanor. As they cautiously peek in their hiding place, they noticed the phone he had left behind. It lay in the bed, under the covers with them, a mysterious lifeline in the midst of their captivity, raising more questions than answers. Under the covers, Julia and Iris worked quietly to remove the ropes binding their hands. The tension was palpable, each movement deliberate and careful. When they were finally free, they remained still, processing their next steps. With the phone in hand, Julia quickly composed a message to Mike, her fingers trembling as she typed.
Mike, it's Julia. We're on a yacht heading to Cape Town. Please help.
Mike, sitting in his dimly lit apartment, received the message and frowned. He was initially skeptical, thinking it might be a trap or a prank. But as he read the message again, the urgency and familiarity of the plea convinced him otherwise. He swiftly began his hacking process, his fingers flying across the keyboard. Back in the penthouse, Chief Crown, Anna, Iris's parents, and Daniel were still trying to make sense of the situation when Mike called.
Chief, I just received a message from Julia. She's on a yacht heading to Cape Town. I'm tracking the phone's movement now.
Mike said, his voice urgent. Chief Crown's eyes widened in shock.
Are you sure it's her, Mike?
Positive. I'm tracking the phone's signal. I'll have more information soon.
Mike replied. In the yacht, Julia and Iris held their breath, anxiously waiting for a response. Minutes felt like hours, and the silence of the room pressed heavily upon them. Finally, the phone buzzed with a reply from Mike.
Got it. Tracking your location. Stay safe. Help is on the way.
Relief washed over Julia and Iris, though they knew their situation was far from resolved. They remained huddled under the covers, trying to appear as still and scared as possible, all while clutching the phone like a lifeline. Mike continued to track the phone, his focus razor-sharp. He relayed every information he got to Chief Crown, who was now pacing with growing impatience and discomfort by the minute.
We need to act fast.
Chief Crown said to Daniel, who nodded in agreement.
How soon can we get a team out there?
Daniel made a few quick calls, coordinating with local authorities. When he finished, everyone rushed to the airport. They secured the quickest flights available, not caring that they had to settle for economy class. Their focus was singular, reaching Cape Town as fast as possible to rescue their loved ones. Meanwhile, on the yacht, Julia and Iris anxiously watched as it docked in Cape Town. The sight of the port and the approaching end of their voyage brought a mix of dread and hope. They quickly ducked under the covers, shoving the phone into Julia's clothes for safekeeping. They hastily retied their hands and began to shake, pretending to be frightened as Lucas entered the room. Lucas, his face a mask of cold calculation, roughly grabbed Julia and Iris by the wrists. He leaned closer, his voice a low whisper.
Listen to me. Trust me, all right? I'm on your side.
Julia, her voice trembling with fear and frustration, hissed back.
How can we trust you? You've been threatening us.
Lucas's gaze softened slightly.
I gave you the phone to contact for help, didn't I? That was my way of helping you.
The women exchanged a glance of tentative hope mixed with skepticism. Lucas's words were a small beacon of trust in their dire situation. As they disembarked from the yacht, Julia and Iris were met by the man who seemed to be calling the shots, who was waiting on the dock. His eyes gleamed with a cruel smirk as he saw the women being brought out. Without a word, he grabbed Iris by the ponytail and dragged her towards one of the waiting cars. Julia tried to protest, but Lucas shushed her urgently.
Stay quiet. We need to get out of here.
He whispered.
Alex. Be careful we can't damage the goods.
Alex rolled his eyes and continued to drag Iris away as Julia prayed for help to keep her tongue held. Alex and Lucas each led their respective captives to separate cars. Julia in Alex's car and Iris in Lucas's. Just as the engines were about to start, the wail of police sirens pierced the air. Alex's face contorted with fury as he slammed the accelerator, his car speeding off into the distance. Lucas followed closely behind, his own vehicle hot on Alex's trail.